Most High, yes, you are the Lord. Hey, Most High, yes, you are the Lord. Most High, yes, you are the Lord. Yes, you are the Lord. We declare you, Lord. We declare you, God. Yes, you are the Lord. Yes, you are. 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 You are the Lord. You are Most High. Yes, you are the Lord. You are the Lord. You are the Lord. Yes, you are the Lord. Most High. We cannot call on your name and end up in shame. Say no way, no way, no, 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 no way. We cannot bow before you and bow before men. Say no way, no, no, no way, no way. Hey, we cannot kneel before you, God, and still kneel before men. Hello and welcome to our Footsteps show. It's a pleasure to serve, encourage, educate, and inspire and motivate you this afternoon. Today we're discussing get married. You are getting old. Don't you think like when you go to a party, to church, and you're growing old, let's say you're in your early 20s, and then you have your aunties, your uncles, your friends are asking you, you're getting old, when are you getting married? I think everybody's getting tired of that. So before we zoom into our topic, we'll go with our motivational quote by Brother Aubrey.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. Our motivational coach for today. You are getting old. You should get married. Will marriage stop you from getting old? You see, marriage does not guarantee you will be forever together or you will be together forever. It is just only paper. But one thing that you can always remind yourself or always remember that it takes respect, love, trust, encouragement, understanding, friendship, faith in your relationship to make it last forever. I trust that this will inspire you up. If your marriage is getting cold, this is a time for you to really inspire yourself and spice it up. And also, if you are someone that, this cold, you fall into this cold. You see, we cannot always be pushing our children to really get married. But the only thing that we can really help them with, teaching them how to love, how to really have friendship, understanding, and how to really build a relationship. Marriage is just that certificate that you get, but you are the one that will make it work. Have a good afternoon. Thank you.
Welcome back. Thank you, Daniel, for this wonderful quote. I go by the name C, and today's topic is Get Married. You're getting old. And today, our speaker for today is Reverend Stephen Azundem, all the way from the Ghanaian Presbyterian Church of Montreal. Hello, Papa. Good afternoon. Papa, you're on mute. Yes,
Good
we hear you
afternoon,
now.
Cecilia.
Welcome.
Good afternoon,
Good
Cecilia. And how are
afternoon.
you?
I'm getting you.
Very well by His grace. I'm doing very well.
So before we zoom into our questions, who is Reverend Stephen Azundem?
Wow, Cecilia, I thought you know me. Okay, so for the sake of my audience and your audience, Reverend Stephen Azundem is an ordained minister of the Presbyterian Church of Ghana, currently working with the Presbyterian Church in Canada on secondment from 2016 to date. And I am the resident minister for the Ghanaian Presbyterian Church in Montreal. I have been in ministry for the past 15 years, and I'm married, and I have 2 children.
Nice, cool. So our first question is, what does the Bible say about marriage?
Okay. So, marriage is part of the creation of God. No, in Genesis, the first 2 chapters or 3 chapters talks about creation, and as part of the creation of God, God decided to create marriage. So it's one of the institutions that God created, and then he created it, blessed it as an estate for man and woman, right? You read Bible, you read Genesis chapter 2, the verse 18 downwards, you see that after God created everything, he realized that everything was created in doubles. They had their partners, but man was lone. Bible described that situation of Adam as being lonely or a solitude situation. And he had pity on man and decided to create the woman as a companion. And in fact, at that time, as I mentioned, Adam was not alone. There were animals and there were everything to make him sufficient, but none of them could provide him the comfort that he needed. So hence the Bible described the situation as what? Being lonely. But there were other things, but those things could not provide the comfort because Adam is or was a social being. And as a social being, you need someone to inform you, someone to love you, and someone to care for you. And you also need to reciprocate the same gesture to that person. So God has to what? Bring in Eve to make Adam complete. So at that first stage, he wasn't complete until Eve was brought.
Wow. Cool.
So
that's a great insight. That's very insightful, and it's a reminder to all of us about what the God said about marriage. And that goes to our second question, because I know when we go to, like, let's say a social gatherings or we're in church and you have our parents, our aunties, extended family members asking you, when are you getting married? You're getting old. So the question is, at what age should a person get married?
Thank you very much for this question. I think there's no specific age for someone to get married. There is no specific age, even in the Bible. But I just want to give a broader perspective because it's a platform for education. Now, when you go to, we have the Bible as we have it now, we have the Jewish Bible and then the Christian Bible. The Jewish Bible is the Old Testament. It's what we call the Jewish Bible. And then the New Testament is the Christian Bible. Okay. Now, the Jewish Bible, we the Christians subscribed to the Jewish Bible. We believe everything, the revelation in the Jewish Bible, we believe it, and that is meant for us. And it is not us alone. Our brothers, the Muslims, also believe in it. So we call that scripture the Judeo-Christo scriptures because they are for Jews and they are for Christians, right? Now, in that book, it sets the background to the cultural background of the Jews. And that's what informs that culture is in a book that we call the Code of Hammurabi. And in the Code of Hammurabi, it set the age for marriage. That in that code, young boys or male can marry from the age of 12 years and female will marry from the age of 13 years. No, male married from the age of 13 years and then the female married from the age of what? 12 years. That is what is set in the Code of Hammurabi. Now you look into Islam and you realize that whatever we have in the Hadith is what the Prophet Muhammad lived and what did on earth. And then that is his way of life is the Hadith. And in the Hadith, Muhammad is said to have married a girl at the age of 9 years. Right. So you could see that, coming back to the question, there's no specific age as to when to get married. Right. But what the Code of Hammurabi said, even as early as 12 and 13, someone can what? Get married. Then we come back to, how do we call it, the biological and physiological makeups of human beings. It is advisable that 13 and then 12 is too early. Right. So from 18 years, people can also get married. Right. But then, come to think about it, there's no age limit or specific age one is supposed to get married. But then some factors must inform your decision to get married. Right. If let's take it that you are working, you have a place to sleep, you have a work that could provide for your needs and that of a woman, you are allowed to get married. You're allowed to get married, right? So there is no specific age as to when to get married and when not to get married. So that is why I went back behind the Bible to quote the Code of Hammurabi to tell you that even as early as 13 and 12 years, people are allowed to marry in the Jewish context, which the Christians we subscribe to. So I think that with the age, there's no age limit and there's no specific age one is allowed to get married. I don't know if you have answered the question, but that is how
Yes,
it's supposed to be.
I think you have answered not only my question, but a lot of people's questions. So before we move on, if you have any questions or comment, please, we are live on Facebook and on YouTube. You can post your questions here. And as we go through the show, we'll read it out loud. So our Papa here can answer the questions or reply to your comment. My third question, Papa, is it okay to be single forever?
Okay, yes, thank you very much. This is a very wonderful question. Now, being single, is it okay to be single forever? There's no problem for being single. In fact, I started by saying that marriage is an institution created by God, right? And in fact, Bible says that He blessed it for humanity. Do you understand? But then God also gave us gifts, and being single or celibate is what celibacy is one of the gifts that God gives to people, right? So it's not everybody that was created on earth to come and marry. So somebody like Paul, he never got married, and he has that gift, right? Now you know that the Roman Catholic fathers, they would say that they don't marry because they take the vow of celibacy. And actually, it's not just a vow. That thing is what a gift that God gives to people. So it is not everyone that God created on earth that is supposed to get married, right? But then God created marriage for us, but it is not meant for everybody. So maybe God may create you and then has a different purpose. There's one man I've been reading for a very long time. He's called John Stott. John Stott never got married because he needed time to work. He think that God created him not to have a family, but to have time for the ministry. And John Stott really wrote a lot of books that encourage a lot of people. You understand? So if you are created by God, in your destiny is in the hands of God, and He wants you to live a single life and die single, glory be to God. No one must be forced or should be forced into getting married. Marriage is not by force. It is a choice. It is a choice, and that people should be allowed to choose whether they will get married, they will be in it, or they will not be in it. It's just a choice. You understand? Good.
Oh, great. That's a good information. So guys who are watching us, it's not really by force to get married. You can be single as long that you want to work for God. So please, guys, take your time to get to know the person. So, Baba, again, before we go to our next question, there's a lot of people saying, like, oh, I'm waiting for Mr. Right. I'm waiting for Mrs. Right before I can get married. So, is there a Mr. or Mrs. Right?
Okay, so I will perfectly answer this question by taking you back again. In fact, the first question that we asked, I did not even define what marriage is. So let me take this opportunity. If you read Genesis chapter 2, the verse 18 downwards gives us the definition of marriage, right? That marriage was meant to provide companionship, you understand? And then we can give a Christian definition. I said a Christian definition of marriage. A Christian definition of marriage. And we can give a Christian definition of marriage as a relationship between a man and a woman. A relationship between a man and a woman who have decided to live together, right? And have vowed before God and a witness, right? Now, when it happened that way, you realize that in the African context, the marriage, even though it is between a man and a woman, it is actually broader than that. It starts with man and woman, but the man comes with a family, the woman also comes with a family, right? So a family, marriage of two families. It moves beyond the family, maybe two tribe, and every man and a can woman. Then it could even go between geographical location. So let me use Ghana. Someone lives in Kumasi and the man lives in Accra. The family comes from this area, right? So regions also come to play, right? So in the presence of a wider witness, that is a definition, understanding of marriage in the African context and a Christian definition of marriage. Now, coming to ask this question, I need to base it on this definition that marriage is when two people decide to live together and accepted the differences and the weaknesses as well as the strengths of the two, and they appreciate them. Let me take it again. It is when two individuals decide to live together when after they have accepted their differences, the weaknesses, and the strength. Do you understand? Now, so you realize that there's no perfect marriage. The perfect marriage is when people have come to accept their differences, the weaknesses, and the strength that they have together. Do you understand? So now, Mr. Right, Mrs. Right. There is no Mr. Right and there's no Mrs. Right, because even God Himself did not create a perfect world, right? Everything God created has its merits and demerits, has the weaknesses and the strength, right? So when you are choosing a partner, you are looking at will I be able to live with these weaknesses as well as will I be able to also live with the strength, or will I be able to enjoy the strength as well as living with what? The weakness of the person. Now, when you do it that way, that's when you can say that, okay, this is my Mr. Right because he accepts me just the way I am with my strength and my weaknesses. Because the reason is that when you see a man and say, this is my Mr. Right, and you base it on conditions that he is Mr. Right because he drives a good car, he has a good job, he's good looking. Then you go into the marriage, he loses his job, he has to sell the car. What do you have again to hang on in the marriage? You have nothing to hang on in the marriage. So Mr. Right and Mrs. Right does not come in when we are choosing a partner for marriage, because whatever condition you place on to decide your Mr. Right or Mrs. Right in the future may not be there. In the future may not be there. But then marriage should be based on the unconditioned realities. Unconditioned realities. Things that, listen, I love you. I want to be with you. Damn the consequences. I accept you, both your weaknesses and your strengths, and I'm ready to enjoy both and everything. When you do it that way, what happens? Marriage goes very well. When you go into the marriage, the man is misbehaving. I say, I saw it. I love him just how he is. And then when he did something good, you enjoy it, because you place everything on duty, and then you go in there, and one day the woman just gets into an accident, and then she's deformed. What will you do? Are you going to leave her? Do you understand? So there is no Mr. Right and there is no Mrs. Right. What can make Mr. Right and Mrs. Right is the acceptance, accepting the imperfection of the person as well as the perfection, accepting the weaknesses as well as the strength. That can make a good marriage, because you know that there is no perfect person. Everyone has flaws, everyone has weaknesses, and then we need to know that and then move on. Thank you very much.
Wow, powerful, Papa. I'm learning a lot right now. It's powerful, and I'm pretty sure my viewers on our Facebook and YouTube are even excited about this. But then it comes to my sub question to this, because I know, like, when I have discussion with my friends, they're like, oh, in a man I want this, I want that, in a woman I want this, I want that. So why do people have certain expectations in a man or in a woman?
I think that those expectations are self-inflated. right? We should not, no, we all expect something good, right? But
Yeah.
then that expectation should not be your aim, should not be your main target, right? Should not be your main target. The target is that you love the person. Let me tell you something. Marriage must first be built on what? Friendship, right? If there's friendship and there's love, you don't need anything.
Yeah.
Because if anytime you have expectation, you are leading to what? Disappointment. Because human beings are rational beings. We are not static. So because you expect, if you expect a human being to behave in a certain way, you get there and the person is not behaving that way. So we shouldn't have those expectations. It is wrong to have those expectations. Now we all anticipate something good. That is why when we stand before God, we said for better, for worse. For better, for worse. But I remember that when people say for better, for worse, what they actually mean is that they are meaning better, better, better. Don't think about the worst. That is why normally the cake that they gave you, you could see the icing, and then behind the icing, you can see those dark parts of it. It's all part of it. So look, it looks beautiful outside, but in there, there's problems, right? So don't have those expectations. We pray for the better, but what about what we go and the better is not there? Will you opt for divorce? Remember, divorce is never an option in marriage, because the 90% of people who opted for divorce always regret. In the Bible, Micah, Bible stated it three times. So, I hate divorce, I hate divorce, I hate three times. Now, what is he saying? He said it three times, meaning that he hates people, or he hates divorcee. He hates people who divorced. You understand? So a divorce, people think that when I divorce, I'm gonna have the needed happiness. Let me tell you, divorce never guarantee the needed or the anticipated happiness. So you know what? What brings about all this is the unmet expectation. So don't go into marriage with an expectation that, oh, because I'm going to marry this person and I know that he's going to treat me this way, he's going to do. What about, that one thing we should know also is that the anointing that we use during dating is different anointing for what? Marriage. Tell you what the man can do for you or the woman will do for you during your dating time, he would not be able to do it when you are in the marriage. He will not be able to do it. Right. So in dating, he will try to do even something that the things that you will not be able to do, he will try to do it just to impress you. Just to impress you. And when you settle in the marriage, that is where you would know the real character of the man you are getting married to. You understand? So let us tone down with the expectation. Let them tone down with the expectation. Get to know your partner very well. I believe that we shouldn't rush into marriage. Getting to know, build it from friendship. Know the person very well. Look, know the person. Don't let the people hide. We because of this world today, many girls or many guys, we hide other aspects of our life. Let me tell you something. During the dating time, spend time communicating, because communication is vital to every marriage or marital relation. When the communication breaks, your marriage breaks down, your relationship breaks down. When you communicate very well, you will get to know the weaknesses and the strength. Then you will now be able to live with this person, or I will not be able to live with this person. So we should be able to communicate more, and that will help us to be able to know that we are making the right choice or we are not making the right choice, because it is very, very painful to go into marriage and then you have to come out of it. It's very, very painful. Yeah. And so don't place any expectation on your partner. Don't expect anything on it. Then I'm going for only the good. Okay, you can also make it wide this way. For you not to be disappointed, have in mind that it could be good, it could be bad. But be it as it may, whatever the situation, I am determined to stay. I like Ruth. Ruth said, whatever may, I am going with you. I will go with you. Naomi said, go back, so I'm going with you. That cancels Maria Mataso, many obeko. Until you need to do that, say, I am determined to go. Even now that my husband is dead, I'll go with you. Your people will be my people. Your God will be my God. If we have that character of roots in us, we will go into the marriage and we will never be disappointed. You will go and your husband lives on tree, you go and live on the tree with him. If he lives in caves, you live there. You understand? So it is better to have a broader view of things than to have a restricted view of thinking that everything is going to be good, and you go and then things are bad, and then you begin to regret. It is very bad that way. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Papa. I have learned a lot. So always have a brother idea than to have a restricted idea. On this note, we'll go for a short break, and then we'll be back.
Thank you.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the show, the Footstep Show. If you are joining us right now, we're live on Facebook and YouTube, and our topic of the day is Get Married, You're Getting Old, with our speaker, Reverend Stephen Azundem. So, Papa, as we continue, the next question will be, is there a negative pressure if you're not married, especially from the society, from our family, from our friends, or any other factors?
Thank you very much. Ideally, there shouldn't be a negative pressure. Ideally, there shouldn't be. But you know what? I want to divide this question into two. Then we understand the situation very well. Ideally, there should not be a negative pressure on anyone who decided to wait or delay the marriage. You understand? There should not be. But then, society has brought it up. So there is some negative pressure, right? And this negative pressure can be seen in broader ways in two perspectives. The first perspective is the self-inflated pressure. Self-inflated pressure. The pressure that emanates within the person. A pressure that emanates within the person. The person looking at what is of mine. Oh, my friends are getting married. Oh, I need to get married. I need to be this. I need to be there. You understand that kind of thing? Those ones are self-inflated, right? Oh, my Equia just got married yesterday. She has a children. I just received an invitation from this friend. You understand? Then the other one, I am aging, and if I don't get married at before 30 years, after 30 years, childbearing is going to be very difficult for me. Those ones are self-inflated, right? Then there are the external factors. Those that are imposed on the individual by friends, family, parents, co-workers, schoolmates. You understand? So the mother says that I want my grandchildren. I want my grandchildren. I want my grandchildren. So every day, now worry. No. So when you leave the office, you are coming home, or if you are going to visit your mom, you know when you get there, she will start bombarding you with what?
Marriage
Questions.
questions.
They start asking you, look. Even when you give her money, when I'm basically I see way. And then when you hear what is important is the children. Bring me children. When are you going to show me the ideal man? I want to see my in-law. That is the problem. So it's like you go to work, you are not able to function very well, right? And then when you meet with your friends, the conversation that is going on, and my husband is calling me, I have to meet out with this, and my husband, I have to meet my children, and you begin to listen to those conversations. You feel like you are left out.
Imagine.
You go for a meeting, and then they were like, my husband, that, my children, that, and my in-laws, that, and that, and that. Because you are not there, you don't have a conversation, you don't have anything to say, right? Those things put what? Pressure on the people. And that when it happens that way, anything that comes your way, you want to grab it. And many people are in marriages because of one self-imposed pressure and what external pressures. And then they are more like in prison. And let me tell you something. The most painful thing is that the most painful thing in this world is a relationship that is not working. It is as painful, more painful than toothache. Kaka. It is painful than toothache. It is better not to go through than to be in a relationship that is not working. It can kill you. It is very poisonous. And then the cancer that is hard to be treated is the cancer of the soul. And then the relationship that does not work is cancerous. It poisons the soul, and that cancer cannot be treated. My dear sister, my dear brother, you dare not allow the pressures of this world to push into it. I have mentioned earlier on that, look, even at age 9, Prophet Muhammad got married. The Code of Hammurabi allowed marriage from 12 years. So there is no limit. There's no time limit to marry. Anytime one can get married. So don't let what you are seeing push you into it, because you will do it and you will regret forever. Many people are look, when you go to the psychiatric hospitals, the people there, most of the problems is caused by unworking relationship, broken relationships, right? We have a high incidence of BP, diabetes, and stress problem. Those kind is because of marriages that are not working. You understand? So don't put yourself in that situation. If God created you to get married, yours will come. Yours will come. But the caution is that there are some people who are not married because they are picky. Because they have the expectations that they want in a man or a woman, they don't get it. So they keep on picking. If you are picky, the right person that you are supposed to marry may come. But because you have a different expectation, the person comes and the person goes away. Maybe the person that is coming is wearing chalewati. It's not dressed well. It's not driving in a car. The person came with a bicycle. But let me tell you something. It is always good to marry a man with a vision. If you refuse to marry a man with a vision, you one day watch the man with a vision on your television, or you follow a man who has a television and leave a man with a vision. You on that television, you'll be watching that man on that. You need to be very, very careful. Listen, the only thing is that accept the person, especially the mission and the vision of the person. Everyone has a mission, everyone has a vision. Accept that mission. if you accept the person's mission and his vision, you will be able to support him, and you people will be what? The best couples. And you can, there's nothing that you cannot achieve when you believe in the vision and the mission of your husband or your wife. Do you understand? So don't allow someone to pressurize you into getting married. Don't allow. It is not. It is not good. It has never yielded a result. Listen, follow your heart. We know people who got married at 50 years. We know people who got married at 20 years, but later gave birth at 50 years. It is there. We see it every day. So don't allow people to pressurize you. It is time. It's time. When your time comes, the right man, even if there's a right man and there's a right woman, if the right thing will happen to you, just allow it to go. Follow the flow. Keep praying. But the caution is that don't be picky. The only thing is that pray, and then for everyone that comes on your way, pray and for God to open your eyes to know who is the best for you. And when I say the best for you, not because the person owns a company, the person has his own mansion. No. I think that I saw my wife when I was riding a motorbike. I was riding a motorbike and I was living in a single room, and I was just a trained teacher. As trained teacher from college, I met my wife, and even that I was even a third year student in the university, and I was teaching. I was riding a motorbike.
Wow.
She didn't refuse me. She accepted me and believed in my vision. And thank God, this is where we are, right? You may also meet someone. This time, not someone with a motorbike, but someone with what? How do you call it? A bicycle. But the person has a vision. I was riding a motorbike, and I was a primary teacher, but I was schooling. I was in the University of Ghana. So this guy has a vision. She followed the vision. So I think that you dare not place a price, a condition on anything. No time limits to marriage. Anytime you can get married. So don't allow the pressures within and without push you into doing something that you will regret. Do you understand? Let me tell you something. Between the time that you think that you are ready to get married until the time you get into marriage, you know what you should be doing? You should be working of making yourself a better partner. Today, what do we see? People don't do that. You invest in making yourself a better partner. Learn how to take care of children. Use your mother and learn how to take care of children. Learn how to take care of the home, clean everything. Learn how to dress yourself. Learn how to appear. For today, girls and guys are what? Good in appearance. But what about taking care of the home? It's not just about me marrying you and bringing you home. You become a wife, you become a home manager. Right? So how do I take care of the home? So between that time, when the time you will get married, it's a whole lot of work. You don't just sleep in the room and think that one day a man will just lift you from your your house and place you in his house. No, you don't do that. You have to work out for it. You understand? And the working out for it is not just like maybe those kind of things. Do it, train yourself in such a way. Even yourself. There are people, as a counselor, I have to counsel people when they are married, they move the lady, and then they go home, the lady don't even know how to cook. The lady don't even know how to cook. It's a problem. So while dressing and thinking of doing those things, spend time to learn how to cook. That is the most important thing. It's not about the marriage is the end product. Marriage is where you want to go, but then prepare very well towards it. Let me tell you something. In the beginning, I mentioned that marriage is an institution. I mentioned it. Marriage is an institution. And every institution needs what? Preparation. Requires preparation. So it means that anyone who has intention to get married must start preparing towards it. You don't wait to get into marriage and to learn how to marry. You don't learn.
It's true.
Once you are out there, that is when you learn how to marry. It is like swimming. You don't wait to break into the water when you get into the swimming competition before you learn how to swim. You have to prepare before you step into the water and you'll be drawn. So you need to prepare yourself. Prepare yourself a lot even before you start even dating. So I ask people now. The other problem where even people like another pressure is that on any hour, so I need to work with him. You understand? Please, sex is not marriage. Sex is never a marriage. You cannot equate sex to marriage. Knowing how to have sex does not mean that if you can be a good husband or a good wife. So I have asked people who got married out of wedlock, and then the guys want to marry, they come and say, okay, so everyone asked them, is it because he has a child with you? That's why you are marrying him, or you are marrying him because of a genuine love. It is better to be a single mother than to marry someone who just had sex with you, and because of that, it has become a condition to marry you. It is no. Don't allow people to say, oh, and you're going to worry me. He has to marry me. And some parents to force their children, I'll force him to. No, you are killing your children if you do that. I have seen situations like that. The girls go in it and they come back crying, blaming everybody. You understand? So when you have a child with a man, that does not guarantee that the man should marry you, or you can be a married material. You understand? So sex is something. It's a different component. Even though I believe I always say that sex is a good ingredient to spice your marriage, but there's more to sex, or there's more to marriage than what sex. So we need to understand it that way. And when we do that, it will help us. I'll spend a lot on this. I don't know, but let's go to the next.
It's interesting, because a lot of people are always asking that kind of question, and it's very, you have opened up like the way and the word for people to understand that, regardless of the pressure, you should always take your time to date someone and make sure that it's the person you're going to get married and spend the rest of your life with, So we'll go to our next question, which is, can this pressure make you go for anyone just for the sake of getting married?
Yes. So I've already answered it. Yes.
So you answer something like that.
Has led people to marry wrong people, or I've led people into marriages that is not working. Most of the marriages that are not working today is because people married wrongly. If I say people married wrongly, what I mean is that they went with a different expectation and purpose, and they went and those expectations were not met. Right. Look, let me tell you something. There are some people, weird things. Someone has this let me be blank here. So I needed a man with a strong manhood, and that's a big manhood, penis, and that people with height. They have a height, and they're big foot. These people have a very big manhood. The man has somebody here. Then you go in and then the thing is very small. How do you understand? The thing is very small. How do you stay in that marriage? So these are some of the challenges. You see the person, and then even you have not met the person, but someone introduced you, heard some about the person. So you good way said, and it's okay. You just pay what people said. Off you go. You are in love with that person. And another thing is that Families. Oh, this is my friend's daughter, and I feel like I marry my son. They don't know each other, so, but because the parents are good, they think
Good, yeah.
automatically the son is good or the daughter is also good. So you give your children to it is a bad thing. Let the people involved spend time knowing each other, spend time talking to each other, come to know themselves. I always talk about the weaknesses, come to know their weaknesses, and even know how to resolve it. Because you know what? The place where there are a lot of conflicts is marriage. There are a lot of conflicts in marriage. But if people appreciate you know your partner, what will spark a fight, you don't say those things. You know what would upset her, you don't say those things. You understand? And when the person is upset, you know how to cool the person down. That is the way it should go. You understand? So we introducing people into marriages is one of the cause, and it has led a lot of people in making wrong decisions. Let me tell you something. I am a marriage counselor. I am marriage agent of the government, the Quebec government. So I do marriages here. But one thing that I don't know the rate of divorce. I don't know I don't want to assume that I know the rate of divorce in Canada. I don't know, but I know the rate of divorce in Ghana. If you go to the registrar of marriages, the registrar general's office, the department that do marriage, you realize that the number of people that comes there to marry is equivalent to the number of people who are also divorcing.
Wow. Wow.
You see, so there's a high rate of divorce. There's a high rate of divorce. Why? Because there is also the problem where I think that is a big problem, but I think that we cannot do much about it. Like Cecilia, you're not married. You've come to me for counseling, and through the counseling, I realized that the two of you are not compatible. Even if I tell you that you are not compatible, you will not agree, because at that time lust has taken every part of you, and because of you lust for the guy and those kind of stuff, whatever I'll tell you, you think is love until you go in and the problem starts coming. Say, Papa, how can you? But that would be too late.
Too late. Yeah.
That would be too late for you. Do you understand? So at the point of counseling, we do see those things that look, this thing you are marrying the wrong person. The expectations that you are going to this marriage because of this expectation, you go and it's not there, you have a problem. Because people do pretend. They pretend and behave in such a way that they will win women and they will win guys to themselves. So you go into it and the reality will start tearing you at your face, and then you cannot go back again, and it will end in divorce. So pressure has led a lot of people into, how do you call it, marriages that they did not desire, and then the anticipated expectation has never also been met. So that's what I can say. It has led a lot of people into it, and then we have to be very, very.
Yes, we are learning a lot. I hope if you have any questions, please do ask on our various platforms on Facebook and our YouTube channels, and then we'll read it out loud to our guest, and he'll be able to answer your question. But before we close, my last question is: because of this pressure, can it lead you to go for a loan just to get married, like to plan your own
Yes.
wedding? Let's say the man is already or the lady's married, but the man wants to go for a loan because of that. Can it happen this way?
Yes, it not even can it happen. It's happening. It's happening. People go in alone to do wedding and those kind of things. Let me tell you something. I have always advised that look, why do people even go in for those things to do wedding? It is just to impress people that have a big wedding, right? I have about 20 bridal team. The bridal team is made of 20 people. We have done this. We hire the biggest this thing. That one, The reason why people go in for loan is what they see on social media.
Yeah.
Right. Last year, there was a wedding. One of the richest people in Ghana
Can see
had a
what
wedding.
yeah, I can see.
And you saw that there were a lot of people. What a big wedding like this. Then, after that, we saw another big weddings in that way. Now, when people would also want to have similar weddings, right? But then ask yourself, this person that had this wedding, the asset base of that person's parents, do your parents have that asset base? And if you don't have, you are going to get a loan. How are you going to repay the loan? You understand? Now let me tell you something. So people do go for loan to have big weddings, but then it is not advisable to do that, because you will go in for the loan, and many people who have done that have not been able to repay their loans. Let me tell you, someone for 10 years, they've married for 10 years, they are still repaying the loan. And that's the loan that people go, some of the causes of divorce, the early divorce within the first 3 years is that kind of way. Because you go in for a big loan for the wedding, now the woman comes home, there is no money for food. There's no money for food. So that is the cause of what? A lot of divorce in our churches and in our countries today. In our country today. Because they go in for the money, the repayment becomes a problem. And sometimes maybe one party is working, another party is not working. So the money that could have been used to take care of home, that money is now being used to service the loan. So there's a problem, and it becomes worse even right after the marriage, pregnancy. You need to take care of your pregnant wife. You have some rent to pay. You have to service the loan. You see the problem? So when it happens that way, there is no happiness in the marriage. So young people, please be warned, and we advise you. It is not a good thing to what? How do you call it? Go for loan to have a big wedding. Let me tell you something. If you do a gigantic wedding or a gargantuan wedding, people will applaud you. People will still criticize you if you don't know. No one has ever had a perfect wedding before. No matter the kind of, let me tell you, there are two things that no one have done it well. Wedding and funeral. Wedding and funeral, no one has. Whatever you do, people will still have something to say. They will come and eat and eat and eat, but still they will have something to say. So whom are you trying to impress in this? They will eat and leave you and then saddle you with what? Debts. How can you start life with debts? Just start life that way. So that's why I said that marriage needs preparation. You don't wait to see the woman before you start saving. Start saving now. Start saving. Don't wait to meet your husband before. Start putting up the things. That if I meet this man, because you know one day you are going to get married, so start doing it. So when the right person, can you meet the person that you think that this is what God has chosen for me, then you can what? Help the person. Don't wait. Don't be eating the money. Don't just be spending the money now and thinking that when you get a man, money will come somewhere to do the wedding. When you do that, you will do the wedding. People will laugh. The people who came and enjoyed the food, even took some home. Those same people will now come to make fun of you. Go and look at them, and then you'll be calling them for help, and they'll be laughing at you. They'll be laughing at you. So when they said cut your coat according to your material, it comes into play when it comes to planning of what? Wedding. Don't let someone influence you to do anything big, anything beyond your means and your budget. You understand? Let me tell you something. We marry only once.
Yeah.
And then if you have your wedding and you do it anyhow, you organize it according to your means, and people come and said that, oh, the wedding no cry nefe, that of okay, anyefe, okay, but the wedding has been done. Or that way your wedding or friend I mean baby. Me cry me your wedding be na my friend or what I say. That's it. The wedding is only one. So I'm not going to do any wedding again. So I'll invite you again. That's it. Wedding is only one. So there's no way that will tell me that next time if you invite me, I'll not come to your wedding. Who say I'm going to do a second wedding? It is for better for worse. So we're not going to do any wedding again. Let alone I'm going to invite you and you say you will not come to my wedding. So please, the more if you have money, rather keep the money and use it after the wedding. Let me tell you something. Wedding is just an event. It's just an event, and that event takes about after 3 hours. It is gone. 3 hours, everything is done.
Yeah.
Marriage is what you do after the event, and it's lifelong. So, would you, if you have money, if you are in your right sense, if you have money, would you put all that money in the 3 hours for people to come and enjoy? And then the one that you have to live eternally, you are saddled with debts. What kind of logic is this? So we advise, not that we don't advise as counselors, no, we advise them. We advise them. We advise them, but people don't want to adhere to. They don't want to adhere to. They try to do what they want, and then it ends them in troubles. And sometimes too, they think that because I'm Osofo, I am Kolo. Who told you? Who told you? I'm not Kolo. Because what you are coming to do, I've done it before. I've done it before, and I know what will cost you. We tell you. But they try. They also have, when whilst you are advising them, they have other people who are also advising them.
Yeah.
We're giving them a different information, mixing things wrongly, and at the end of the day, when the thing happens, these people will not be there to help them. They still come back to us for counseling. But me, when you come back to me, I'll tell you what I told you before the marriage. I'll tell you, this is what I told you. This is what I saw coming. You understand? So I think that nobody should go in for a loan for a marriage. Nobody should do that. Don't do that. It does not work. It's not wealthy to do that. Listen, the best we in Ghana or Ghanaians, our marriage is in 3 stages. It's in three stages. It starts with the customary marriage. The customary marriage is the most important of all. It's the basis of all. And that one does not even take, how do you call it, more people. Does not take more people. It only takes a few friends and family members to do it. The second one, that one is what we call the ordinance. The governmental one have the certificates and those kind of contracts. And then the church blessing. So at the church, we do 2 things. We do the ordinance and we do the blessing. Now let me tell you, we can have that one in the minister's office. Only bring 6 people. Yourself, your mother, your father, the 2 of you. 6 people plus the minister can do that one. Is that one too expensive?
No, it's not
And
expensive.
when people begin to criticize, let them criticize you. Me, it is better to use the money that I will use to go out the loan to start a business, help my family, than to put that money, buy food for people to come and eat within 3 hours, and then go back home and then insult me. They will insult me. They will compare me to Kensi 2020. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Please don't go. I said there are people still. I know people who are still. Someone took money from somebody that I know. about there, let's take it that it's getting to almost 13 or 14 years, 15 years now, the person has not paid the money. She came for the money for a wedding. Until now, she has not paid the money. You understand? Just imagine if the person went to the bank to take that loan. By now, they would have sold her all her belongings to defer the debt. You understand?
Yeah.
So please, it is not advisable, and it has never been good for you to go for money just because you want to have a gangantuan wedding. Who cares? Who cares? Because after this thing, wedding, no one will come to your house to give you anything. Some people also have this intention. Let me diffuse this intention. They have this intention. Okay, when I go for the loan and I have a big wedding, let's take Montreal here. We'll hire a big hall, about 1,000 capacity. We have people will give us something. And if someone does that and the person had money to pay the debt, remember that our head, we are not the same. It's not really cra and it's not that one cra. Watch the weather.
Yeah.
The day that for you that day there will be a big downpour and no one will come to the wedding. Then you will see where you are going to get the money to pay. You see where maybe you have invited them, but if there is a big downpour, will people be at the reception to pay that, give you that donation? But even we don't plan weddings based on what people are going to give you. You don't plan that. So it's a big mistake to say that I'm going for a loan for a marriage. Save for it. Save for it. Don't do that. Save for it. Save for it. And do something within what your means. It is better if you want to we go for loans to do business. We don't go for loan to buy meat and drinks for people to come and eat.
That's true. But before we round up, there's a question on Facebook by Brother Benjamin. He asked, should the woman sponsor the marriage since age is catching up on her?
Okay, so there's nothing about sponsoring. Someone is sponsoring the marriage or someone is not sponsoring the marriage. Age is not catching anybody. Age is not, the mere fact that you are growing shouldn't put pressure on you that age is catching up with you. Are you not a Christian? Sarah gave birth at what? 75. She gave birth, right? So listen, we have people who are giving birth at 50. Right? We have people so what is that age is catching up with? Age is not catching up with anybody. When your time comes, you will surely get married. Now, as to who should sponsor, no, the thing is that you are all supporting the wedding. You are all supporting it. It shouldn't be that I am sponsoring it. No. When it comes to that, no, it comes with its own problems. Do you understand? But when you love each other, let me tell you something. In Genesis chapter 2, verse 24, I said, this explains why a man leaves his father and mother and is joined to his wife, and the two are united into one. Now, when they say live and join, I want to explain what it means. To live, to enjoy, you have to live psychologically. You have to live emotionally. You understand? Socially. And then join with your husband. The joining means a lot of things. You join together spiritually. You do things together. You join together economically. It means that you now eat from one purse. So it is I always have problem with partners, people who get married and they said you are able to give your husband your body to sleep with you, but then you hide your money from your husband. You are not correct. Your body and paper, which one is precious? You allow the man to sleep with you, do everything with you, but when it comes to your money, there you hide it from him. The journey means one purse. So it means that you all eat from the same purse. Now, what it means is that what belongs to you, the woman, belongs to the man too. So now, what it means is that when you are getting married, even the time that you met and you decided that you want to live together, you have already become one. So now, if you are all doing it, you are doing it together. Remember that I mentioned that we have weaknesses and our strength. So at the point of the marriage, maybe the man is weak financially, but the woman is strong financially. So in coming together, one will bring more than the other. But what belongs to the woman also belongs to the man. You understand? So in that case, the woman is not sponsoring the marriage. You are all doing it together. It is because yours is more because you are stronger financially, right? So when we see it that way, it is better. But if you made your mind that one, I am sponsoring the marriage, the man becomes a poodle to you. And a woman that sees that if you see your husband as a poodle and you can push him around because you sponsor the marriage, that marriage isn't going anywhere. And when it's happening that way, you're gonna have problems with the children that you are going to raise. You're gonna have problem with the children because the man will not have griefs over the children because the woman have assumed power in the house. So at the point of wedding, no one should say that I am sponsoring. It is not the obligation of the man to sponsor the wedding. You are all doing it together. It's a mutual responsibility. But let me tell you, at point in time, one is more stronger than the other. So please understand it. Financially, you realize that one will be stronger than the other, and then in other aspects, one will be stronger and the other person will be weaker. You understand? If you understand it that way, everything is okay. So at the point of the wedding, who is financially strong? The one who is financially strong will contribute more. You understand? But then he is contributing because the funds belongs to the two of you. With that mindset, you do everything together. But with the mindset of hey, at the end of the day, you don't even there wouldn't be respect in the marriage. And then you give room for your family to begin to see your husband as a useless person, especially when you let your friends know that me sponsor a wedding, I'm here say, hey, the respect that you have to give it to your husband, you will not get. If your husband loses his respect in your family, oh, finish. That's it. Your husband must be given the due respect. Your family must respect your husband. But if you do that, and they get to know that, oh, you're quite a and then it's like a cover slave, just someone to come and produce children for us. So that is how. So it's not good. It is not. It's not good to say that someone is, but just see that you are all what helping the situation. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Papa. We'll go for a quick break and then we'll round it up and call it for a day. So we'll go for a quick break. All right, welcome back, everybody. So, Papa, as we wrap up, what is your final message to everyone who's watching us on this platform?
Okay, thank you very much. First, thank you for having me, and I thank you so much for the platform to speak on this subject. But my advice is that first, there's no pressure, there's no hurry in life. No, there's no hurry in life. It is time. The only thing is that start praying. Start praying about your marriage. Start praying, and then be open-minded. Be open-minded. Color, profession doesn't come in. People are having the mind, I want to marry a medical doctor, I want to marry a teacher, I want to marry a pastor, I don't want a dark lady, I want a fair lady, I want a tall guy. Look, those things don't work. The only thing is the peace in marriage is the most important thing. The love in marriage is the most important thing. So the most important thing now is to start what? Praying, pray more about it, and then wait upon God for the right person and be open minded. Don't restrict yourself with a particular expectation because those expectations may or may not come. And then, even those ones you may go in and you'll be disappointed. And it is always not good to say that, to see yourself that you are aging. You are not aging. People were even 70 years, they had children, and people are still having children. If yours is in it, you will surely have it. Now, let us also remember that no, not all of us were even created on this earth to get married. And let us also understand that marriage is a beautiful institution. If you have the opportunity to go into it, let us use it to honor God. Parents, there's no need to pressurize your children into getting married. At the right time, God will open the way. God's time has always been the best. If God has not opened the way, you will try, but you will surely fail. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. So, guys, as our Papa said, take your time. There's no pressure in getting married. Thank you so much on behalf of the team. We say thank you so much for accepting our invite to come and talk to us about marriage and getting old. So, today's have a good evening, everybody, and see you in 2 weeks. So, as you can see, next 2 weeks we'll have our show about good manners, but bad body odor by our mother, Mrs. Helena Boafo, on D12 at same time. So please invite all your friends to join us on this show. So have a good evening and enjoy the rest of the day.
One more time. First it was fragrance, then it turned to fire. Asha. This is how you win your battle. Roll, let's go. Tell your neighbor, say, give me space, give me space, give me space. This is how I win my battle. Asha. The fragrance of my worship rose up to the Father. Noises, thunders, earthquakes were the response to my worship. The fragrance of my worship rose up to the Father. Noises, thunders, lightnings were the response to my worship. The fragrance of my worship